I was a competitive dancer up until I was about 14 when I had an injury that made it so that I couldn't dance any longer. I had a lot of free time on my hands and I ended up getting involved in drugs and partying. I just needed something to fill that void that dance had done for me. And when I was 20 years old, my mom suddenly passed away. The cardiomyopathy had come back. A lost girl got a lot more lost. I went down a really, really dark path after that, using methamphetamines. And I had a boyfriend to do it with me, and that's all I did all day long. I sat in a room and I did drugs and I got arrested a couple times. I remember sitting in a jail cell just going, well, who is this person? Who am I? I didn't know what my life had become. I was just living this life, and I ended up going through a program, a court-ordered program, and while I was in that, I found out I was pregnant. I did separate from the guy that I was with because he was continuing to use. At that point, I knew I needed to change something, and something happened. I had to go find him one night, and I had some wine, and my son was in the car, and I ended up getting a DUI. That ended the marriage. I saw myself back where I was before at that point. One thing I've always known that I was good at besides dancing was being a good mom, and I kind of ripped all that away from myself. And Chad gave me something that I had never had before. We were friends first, and then we fell in love, and we ended up joining our families together. We made a decision to move out to Nevada, to Henderson. I think right before we moved out here, I told him, we're gonna need to go to church if we're gonna be living next to Sin City. So we got out here, and after a month or so, I pressed him about it, and he brought up this big church he'd seen. Hearing the song Oceans, it's just it's a defining moment for me because it was the first time in years that I'd felt the Holy Spirit back in my life. Jesus gives me an understanding of how I'm supposed to love other people. So we ended up jumping into First Step there, and from there, our life just took off. This big church became a very small community for us, where we walk in and it's hard to get a couple steps without saying hello to somebody. I don't even know that I could ever actually verbalize what it's done in our lives and the life changes that I've seen, and the laughter that's in our household and the happiness that's there, and just seeing God in every moment all the time. Again, I just get at a loss for words when I try to explain the feeling that I have inside of me when I get to walk in and see my kids with badges around their neck, and my husband leading men out and walking with them through their life trials, and me getting to pour into women and people who have been through what I've been through.